Let's shift gears and delve into the landscape of South Africa's automotive industry. With luxury car sales plummeting and affordable Asian brands gaining traction, we ask, what's driving this trend? Joining us is Pogiso Dibakoane, a motoring expert, to discuss the decline of BMW and Mercedes-Benz and obviously other formerly top brands in South Africa. Pogiso, I appreciate your time. Now, can you give us an overview of the current trends in South Africa's automotive market? Pogiso, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I lost you a bit. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. Please give us an overview of the current trends in South Africa's automotive market.
Well, look, the current trend is that most buyers are actually looking for value for money, and because of the economy as it is, it becomes a bit of we are basically pushed into a corner to buy cheaper brands and new coming brands that are coming into the market. This will reflect as people are now moving away from the well-known German vehicles, your luxury vehicles, your BMW, Mercedes-Benz. So because we're looking into having value for money and also not to spend much more on cars. Cars nowadays that they cost more money than what they used to do.
So what economic factors are driving the decline in luxury car sales? I mean, you look at brands like Suzuki, Chery and Haval, and they're gaining a lot of traction in South Africa.
Well, look, the biggest thing, it's pricing. I mean, if you look at your 1 Series from BMW in 2015, a 1 Series you could get for less than 500,000. Right now, you can't even put yourself into a BMW 1 Series at 500,000. Those cars now are starting at 700,000. And obviously, another factor that comes into play, but people don't look at, is that your Suzuki's, most of their vehicles are also playing in the Uber space. So people are buying those not only to use for personal use, it's also for business. And obviously, luxury brands like your Mercedes-Benz are a bit overpriced right now. But that is not to say it's the product or manufacturers. I think that the biggest problem is that inflation is playing a role, and people are not earning as much as they used to earn. They are overstretched because, I mean, if you were earning 30,000 in 2010 and you're only earning right now about 35,000, you haven't moved too much.
So comparing apples with apples, you look at some of these Asian brands that are coming onto the market, they look absolutely incredible, and they are pitched alongside the traditional brands that we've been talking about. What is the value? Are you getting value for money?
Well, look, I think another thing that is happening that is very important to note is that the spike that we're seeing of Asian vehicles or Chinese vehicles that are being bought in South Africa is that they are able to attract especially new car buyers. So people who are sitting in their cars, they're not letting them go. I mean, the Asians guys and with your Jetor, Haval, some of the, especially Haval, has proven itself to be a quality build of a vehicle. Although we're still yet to see the new players, are they going to be durable as the other cars that we're letting go? That is going to be a big factor. So in 5 years' time, we'll be having this conversation to ask, is your vehicle that you bought 5 years ago give you the value for money that you paid for? It might be value for money for now in terms of price, but is the after service going to be the same? Is taking care of it, longevity of the product, is it going to last? If you look at the manufacturer like Hyundai are now saying they'll offer you 200,000, 7 years warranty, which what everybody is happy about. I mean, 7 years at 200,000, that's most South Africans keep their cars for that long. So it's value for money from that aspect. Does
that speak, Pogiso, does that speak to the quality of the vehicle? Because if a manufacturer tells you, you know, I'm gonna double your warranty, it would suggest that they are putting the money where their mouths are.
For sure. It speaks to that, and also it speaks to the quality of their engineering. I mean, for them to say that they are cementing themselves to say, look, we're going to be behind our brand. Obviously, there's going to be a clause to that. You can't service the vehicle anywhere besides their dealership and their dealer network. But that speaks to what they're willing to do for you to be seated on their product. I think that is value for money from that aspect. Will some of the newcomers hold up? We are still yet to see.
Now, interestingly, when you look at the statistics, right, the bigger car manufacturers, if you will allow me to use that term, between 2014 and the last year or two, have lost in the region of collectively maybe 50,000 units a year, and that's for South Africa seems to be a huge number. Are the BMW, the Audis, and all those that are impacted by the loss in sales, are they concerned, do you think?
No, they are concerned. If you look at what some of the vehicle manufacturers, in terms of finance, what the packages that they have included is that they're trying now, in normal finance terms, previously what we used to have is that we would finance a vehicle for 5 years or put a residual on it. Now they have extended and put in new packages, new leasing packages to try and attract more customers, in a sense that now you can purchase a vehicle and pay for it for maximum of 90 months. So some people are still going for that because obviously when you're going for a longer payment term, it means your premium or your installment is a bit lower. You do have customers that are still doing that. Basically, Mercedes-Benz and BMW, actually Mercedes-Benz and Audi are the biggest losers in those terms, in terms of sales. But you still have people, if you look at the Auto data, the Auto Trader data, it's still suggesting that a lot of people now are going for your used BMWs. BMW is still within the top 10 searches of cars that are sold used.
Now ironically, these stats don't impact what's happening globally, because I mean, you talk about BMW, Mercedes-Benz and Audi. They're not amongst the top 10 selling cars in the world, at least not as at 2023. And even if you look at the market share, BMW is on 2%, Mercedes on 2.06%, Audi on 1.7%, compared to Toyota, for instance, which is at number 1 and sold 8.5 million cars. So that 50,000 mark of loss in car sales per year over the last 10 years is potentially insignificant globally for these companies.
No, for sure. Globally, if you look at it, I mean, Toyota has been holding number 1 for quite some time. The biggest thing that happens in globally, it's technology, is how you introduce your technology and in which part of the world you introduce it at, and the population, obviously. There's a lot of cars that we don't get from Toyota in South Africa and which are sold other places in the world. And that plays a big role. I mean, you would have seen the impact of BMW and VW closing some of their factories in Germany, and also downsizing in terms of personnel. So there is a decline of certain manufacturers, but I say give it another 5 years, and then we'll have a conversation of longevity and quality.
But my final question speaks to just how important is this South African market to these car manufacturers?
It's very important. Remember, we here at home produce the BMW X3, and we take it out to the world. And that's one of the things that we actually worried about in the motor industry, that, with everything happening with the US, are we really going to feel the pinch of that? And with Mercedes-Benz in PE, we do that with the C-Class, and we have here at home in Roslyn with Nissan. Although Nissan is suffering, but yes, there is concern, and we're hoping we'll get out of this one positively.
That was meant to be my final question, but something's come to mind. When you look at Toyota, for instance, as a competitor. They sell all sorts. I mean, they sell your entry-level vehicles. As part of product development, do you expect these car makers, the German and the British that we are talking about, to shift focus and product develop? Look at smaller entry-level type vehicles. I know that Mercedes-Benz, I think had the smart car at some point. They also then had the Bucky that they did, which they no longer manufacture. Is this an avenue that you think BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi might explore in order to retain this market or grow that market?
Well, from a manufacturing point of view of Mercedes-Benz and Audi, the thing that you should look at, some of the manufacturers own certain vehicles, brands, like your Audi is still owned by VW. So if for Audi to go and try and make a marketing compatible vehicle in terms of entry-level car, it will be competing with the Polo. And we know what the Polo does here at home. It's a top seller. Well, from BMW, they try and maintain that the Mini should bring in more sales for them.
Pogiso, appreciate your time talking to us about the impact of Asian vehicles on the South African market as they take center stage over the German and some of the British brands.